Do you want to hear a truth you've probably never been told? You're not living your life. Not really. You're living a version of it that has been carefully edited, filtered, and compressed to fit the narrow space of other people's expectations. You've become a curator of your own existence, trimming the wild edges, softening the colors, lowering the volume on your instincts, just so that others don't flinch when they look at you. But here's the uncomfortable part. You did it willingly. No one came to your door with chains. No one forced you to put on the mask. You built the prison cell brick by brick, using silence, self-doubt, and the constant desire to be enough for everyone but yourself. Do you feel that pressure in your chest? That quiet ache behind your eyes? It's not just anxiety. It's not just burnout. It's the spiritual weight of self-abandonment. A heaviness that comes from carrying a version of yourself you were never meant to become. You've been performing a role in a play that no one asked you to audition for. The audience, half asleep. The director, missing. And yet, you keep delivering your lines, smiling on cue, and hoping someone, anyone, will clap when it's over. But they never do. Because deep down, even they can feel it. This version of you isn't real. And now, standing in the quiet moments of your life, you're starting to sense something terrifying. You've forgotten who you actually are. What makes you feel alive? What ideas would you fight for? What does your real voice sound like when you're not afraid of being judged? These are the questions you've buried under decades of noise, approval seeking, and pretending. But here's the good news. This isn't the end of your story. Not yet. Because buried beneath the layers of performance and pain, your true self is still there, waiting, not gone, not broken, just unheard. Let's talk about the most sophisticated illusion you've ever bought into. Control. You were taught that if you worked hard enough, planned carefully, and did everything right, life would reward you with safety, certainty, and success. But that was a lie. Control is not freedom. It's obsession dressed as order. It's a clever trick your mind plays to give you the illusion of power while keeping you shackled to fear. You don't manage life. Life moves through you. And the tighter you grip the wheel, the more the road seems to disappear beneath you. And yet, we keep gripping. Why? Because control feels safer than trust. Certainty feels easier than surrender. We would rather exhaust ourselves building a perfect image than risk revealing the messy truth beneath it. But here's the paradox. The more you control, the less you actually live. Because real life, the kind that makes your chest swell and your eyes light up, doesn't happen in perfectly planned moments. It happens in chaos, in risk, in uncertainty, in surrender. And maybe that's why you feel so numb. Because everything around you is carefully managed, but nothing inside you is truly alive. Now I want to ask you something that might sting a little. Whose life are you living? Whose dream are you chasing? Whose voice echoes in your mind when you doubt yourself? You might think you're making your own choices, but if we peel back the layers, we'll often find inherited scripts, voices of parents, teachers, society, telling you who you should be, what you should want, and how you should behave. The tragedy isn't that you listened. The tragedy is that you never stopped to question it. You inherited beliefs about success that never matched your soul. You pursued goals that never belonged to you. And now, standing at the top of a ladder you spent your life climbing, you realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. You see, we're all storytellers. We create narratives to explain who we are, where we're going, and what matters. But most of us are stuck in stories that were written for someone else. And the scariest part, we don't even realize it. You've been told you need to be productive, that your worth is tied to output, that rest is laziness, that softness is weakness, that being emotional makes you irrational. But none of that is true. These are cultural hallucinations, shared delusions passed down through generations. And yet, we internalize them so deeply that they start to feel like our own voice. So let me ask you again. Who are you without the noise? Without the labels? The job title? The social media bio? The family expectations? What if you peeled all that away? Would you recognize the person staring back at you? Maybe not. Maybe you'd find someone unpolished, unfinished, unsure, but real. And real is where your freedom begins. Because here's the secret no one tells you. Authenticity isn't found, it's reclaimed. You don't become yourself by achieving more. You become yourself by remembering what was true before the world told you to be someone else. Let's pause here. I want to take you somewhere deeper. Let's talk about letting go, not as defeat, but as liberation. You've been told that letting go means giving up, that surrender means weakness. But that's not surrender. That's collapse. True letting go is strength. It's the kind of courage that says, I no longer need to control what was never mine to begin with. Letting go means loosening your grip on outdated beliefs, false identities, and the illusion that you always need to have it all figured out. It means daring to say, I don't know. And from that uncertainty, something new begins. A real you begins. Michel de Montaigne, writing from his stone tower in the 16th century, knew this truth well. He stepped away from the chaos of the world, not to isolate himself, but to observe, to reflect, to rediscover his own mind. He realized that detachment was not apathy. It was clarity, a refusal to be pulled in every direction by opinions that did not matter. Montaigne understood that true freedom isn't found in changing the world. It's found in changing our relationship to it. It's not about escaping the chaos. It's about being untouched by it. So what would happen if you stopped clinging to perfection, to approval, to the version of yourself that's designed to impress rather than express? What if you finally let it all fall apart? Would you crumble, or would you finally breathe? You see, you've been holding your breath for years, afraid that if you exhaled, if you relaxed your grip, everything would fall apart. But maybe it's supposed to fall apart. Maybe the life you built wasn't designed to hold your soul. Maybe you're not breaking down. Maybe you're breaking open. Because here's the truth. You cannot build something new while still clinging to the old. And the person you're becoming cannot exist in the environment where your mask is required for survival. You have to leave. Even if it's terrifying. Even if it costs you comfort, status, and the approval of people who never saw the real you anyway. Because there's something far more valuable on the other side. Peace, alignment, a quiet kind of joy that comes from being able to look in the mirror and say, yes, that's me. Finally, and from this place, everything changes. You stop chasing. You stop comparing. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You begin creating, not performing. You begin speaking, not filtering. You begin living, not surviving. But this path is not easy, and it's not glamorous. It's raw. It's vulnerable. It asks you to let go of the story of who you should be and write a new one, your own. A story with contradictions, silence, rage, softness, darkness, and light. A story that allows you to be the whole messy masterpiece that you are. Because here's the most poetic truth of all. You are not a final draft. You are a living, breathing manuscript. You are being written and rewritten every day. And if you choose, you can pick up the pen. Right now, not tomorrow. Not after you fix everything. Not when you finally have time. Now, rewrite the chapter where you betrayed yourself to please others. Rewrite the scene where you settled for less because you didn't think you deserved more. Rewrite the ending because it hasn't been written yet. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are simply waking up. So now the only question that matters is this. Will you keep living someone else's script? Or will you finally, courageously, write your own? If you've made it this far, I want you to comment this phrase. I pick up the pen. That way, I'll know you're not just a passive listener, but an active author of your life. Subscribe, activate the bell, and join this community of conscious, curious, and courageous souls. We'll keep exploring the questions that scare us, because those are the ones that matter. And in the next episode, we'll go even deeper into the space where philosophy, emotion, and radical honesty meet. Until then, close the book, but keep the pen in your hand, because the next line might change everything.